You're listening to Were You Still Talking? Hey, welcome to the show. This is Were You Still Talking? This is Joel Albrecht again, and on my show today I have Bill King, or as he's known for a lot of the world, Scrufytam. He is a streamer on Twitch, which is something I'm still wondering about and still learning about. Similar to the last podcast, if you heard that with Two-Tone Murphy, it's a very new thing for me and a bizarre and wonderful world. He is also an automobile technician for 14 years, then service manager for 14 years for almost, oh, wait a minute, I'm reading this wrong. I'll get into that further and get that straight. He owns a drone service company since 2014. At one time, he owned 8 drones, which I think is pretty cool. And I saw a video where he was describing one of them. So we'll get into that too. He's married. He's been married for 32 years. I've barely been alive that long. Okay, not true. He has a daughter, 2 granddaughters, and another on the way, I think it says. My email's getting cut off. There it is. He started streaming in September of 2020 and was truly a variety streamer, playing any and everything. This is going to be fun. I'm going to find out more about Twitch, more about someone from South Carolina, I believe. Bill, how's it going? Nice to have you on the podcast today. How are you?
It is going fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me here. I love talking to people, and I love talking. So I think you've got a good guest today. How are you?
That is definitely what I go for. That's really how I choose my guests. As no celebrities have answered my phone call yet, but well, now you're a celebrity. Congratulations, by the way, on the 1,000K stream.
Thank you.
That was a lot
of fun. Incredible.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I just had half that, and it was quite of an event. But yeah, really fun. And you stream for a long time. You have long streams. Didn't you go for like 6 hours today?
Today was just under 5. I used to only stream 2 or 3 hours at a time, but I found that the longer streams usually do better. So yeah, today was just under 5 hours.
Yeah, that's true. Longer streams really do better. And I'm going to back it up now. I'm going to go back to something that, because many people might not even know what Twitch is, or if they do know what Twitch is, what we do on Twitch. So I'll start with the first question. You've been doing it a lot longer than I have. What is Twitch? What is that?
Wow, that's a good question, and you're going to find out how much I love to talk. So I'm an automotive instructor, been doing that for a little over 4 years. And what got me on Twitch was my students on their break times. I would notice them watching something on their computers. Each one of our students has a school-owned computer at their desk. And so we can look on with what they're doing. And I was looking on one day and I saw a student looked like they were watching someone playing a video game. So yeah, I'm 53 years old, but I like to try to act like I'm, as young as they are. So yeah. I just asked them, hey, what is this that you're watching? And they said, well, we're watching, I don't even know who it was, but it was some well-known person at the time playing some game I'd never heard of. And I thought, how stupid is that to watch someone play video games? Why would you waste your time watching someone play video games? Now, I've always been a gamer my whole life. I've loved playing video games. So it was the next day or so that they asked me, oh, are you on Twitch? Well, being the guy that wanted to fit in, I said, yeah, I am. So really quickly made an account on Twitch, and it was Thanos Squad. Because, look at this. Do I not look like Thanos?
No, a bit, yes.
So my student, that's why I got the purple light too, to kind of make my fit. No, I'm just kidding. So my students would call me Thanos. That was a nickname. So I came up with Thanos Squad, Thanos being Thanos, and then Quad being quadcopter or drone.
Right.
Yeah, just as kind of a joke. And then I kind of got hooked on Twitch, and a year later I wanted to stream. And so what is Twitch? I'm sorry. Twitch, wow. it's hard to describe what Twitch is. For me, it was something where I could share my love of playing games with other people's of the same like mind. So I was really into Splatoon 2. It's a like a third person shooter, but using ink, a Nintendo game. And I wanted to see more people playing Splatoon 2 so I could get their strategies. And that's what got me hooked on Twitch. And that's one of the first games that I played on Twitch was Splatoon 2. But it's a place where you can get together with like-minded people that have the passion that you have for whatever it is that you're playing at the time, whether it be variety streaming, PC gaming, flight simming, and you know, whatever your passion is, you can go there and share it with others that have the same like mind and gain knowledge, share knowledge, and grow together in your knowledge. And I absolutely love it. It's a beautiful place.
It's really interesting because when I heard that people would watch other people gaming and there was professional gamers, I could not even believe that was, I mean, and this started like 10 years ago or something, you know, I was so like, there's professional gamers. And that's kind of what we're trying to make our way in now is this massive, massive platform where the flight simulation thing is, you know, comparatively pretty small, but it's such an amazing community. And I don't really play other games, so I knew even less about it. You actually found out about it long before I did. When did you change from Thanos to Scrufytam? What is that?
Yeah. So once I started streaming, well, dang it, it's another long story, Joel. I'm sorry. So Scruffy came about in 1996 or 1998. I bought my first PC that had a whopping 2 gigabyte hard drive in it. And I really was into chat rooms, chatting with people online and just meeting new people. It was the first time the world really opened up for people where you could meet and talk to people on the other side of the world, and, you know, learn cultures and stuff like that. So I was really involved in that, really just amazed by it. And so I had to have a chat room handle. I had a Lion King mouse pad. Lion King had just came out, and I said, hey, that could be my handle. I'll use one of these characters from Lion King. My mind just went blank, and the only thing that came to my mind was Scruffy. Don't know where that came from. So Scruffy was my original username with 2 F's. And I used that in a lot of places. Well, then Scruffy started getting used more. I wasn't able to use it, so I changed it to 1 F. Then it got used a lot. And so now, you know, I added Tam to the end of it, and here, the Scrufytam.
Oh, interesting. So is it, I haven't even had to do this. Is it hard to change a name, or is that pretty simple?
No, it's pretty simple. So all I would do was just, as I would join new places, I would just use my new username, and no, I wouldn't go change my old usernames back.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, when you started,
you mean on Twitch?
Oh yeah, on Twitch. Dude, I mean, yeah.
Sorry. I'm telling you, man, I like to ramble. So yeah, on Twitch, I went from, it's very easy. You can only change it once every 30 days, I think, but you can change it as much as you want to. Now, I wasn't a streamer at the time. Now that I'm a streamer, I will never change my name. But I went from Thanos Squad to Scrufytam when I decided, no, this is before I started streaming. I went to Scrufytam. And then as a joke, went to Scrufytamayo just as a joke in someone's stream that I was a big member of. But yeah, so now I'm Scrufytam, and it's easy to change. Did that answer your question?
Mm-hmm. It did, because in the flight sim itself, for people listening who don't know what I'm talking about, we play Microsoft Flight Simulator on Twitch, as well as a lot of the times off Twitch. But
yes,
in that, I think it cost me $9 to change my screen name. And I wanted it, once I started streaming, it really needs to match my stream name. And I thought it did, but somebody on my Twitch pointed out that I had It was Fights with Joel instead of Flight. Which no one, I don't think most people know this because they expected it to be Flights with Joel. So I think most people did not even, read it clearly.
Hilarious.
And when you're flying around, it's hard to read the names. Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. So that was kind of a pain in the butt, but I'm glad that Twitch is not. But yeah, now that I'm streaming, it would be a bigger deal. It would be a bigger deal, I'm sure.
Oh gosh, yeah. So thankfully, I had fallen into the Scrufytam username years ago, and that's pretty much. I mean, you can search, and I'm sure you did. You can search Scrufytam online, and you'll find my real name like super easy because I'm Scrufytam everywhere.
Right. You've got that label down. So, and you don't seem to have any social media under your real name as a shop technician, as a teacher. As an instructor.
Just
not your thing.
YouTube is Bill Teaches Automotive Technology.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
And then I do have a Facebook page, and that's it. Everything else is Scrufytam.
Everything else.
Yep.
So
now I take that back. Besides on Instagram, I do have my Greenwood Aerial page for my drones. That's it.
Right. And you still do. That's still a business, right? You still are doing that.
It is. It's super slow right now because everyone and their brother has a drone, and the FAA doesn't care if you're certified or not. So yeah, it's kind of slow.
Oh, they don't. I didn't realize that. I thought they. Oh, okay. I thought they did care. So they just don't really check up on that.
They don't enforce it. There we go.
They don't. Yeah. Okay, that's the word. So, to be certified, didn't you have to pass like the written for a private pilot or something? I thought. Yeah. So
Yeah.
you are halfway to doing the private pilot course. How's that going?
I thought I was about halfway, Joel.
You thought.
And I'll tell you, I was kind of cocky. I mean, I thought I knew some crap about flying until I became a flight simmer and some of the real pilots came in. Then I realized, no, Scruffy doesn't know anywhere, not even a quarter of what he thought he knew about stuff. So, yeah, it was. I did have to learn a lot, and a lot of people in the drone community or that want to get their Part 107 is the name of it, certification. They'll just get an app on their phone and they'll memorize a bunch of questions to pass the test. And I didn't want to be that person, so I signed up for a 2-day class in Virginia and drove up there and spent 2 days learning from an Airbus pilot all the whys, because I'm a why person. I guess that's just how I'm wired. That's why I like working on cars, because I want to know how something works and why it does what it does.
Oh, right.
So I want to know the whys. Why is it that I can only fly 400 feet in the air? Why is it I can only fly a certain number of miles from an airport, and why this and why that? So I got to hear it from a pilot's perspective, why the laws are or the regulations are what they are. And it was interesting, and I'm thankful for that. And that made me cocky, though. I thought I knew some stuff because an Airbus pilot taught me.
That's really good, though, because I learned as I was learning to fly. So I learned, I'm reading the books as I was learning to fly, and I have a terrible memory. So just memorizing it was out of the question, partly because I'm not good at memorizing for a test, and partly because I'm the same way. It's like I want to know what all this weather is about. Why wouldn't you fly in this weather? Why don't you take off with 100 feet of visibility? That should be obvious if you're a pilot, but and why is it 4? Why is it a mile? Why isn't it 2 miles? Different things like that. So I think I had soloed or was close to solo before I took the written, because I wanted to pass it. And also when you're trying to get your pilot's license, you've only got, you have a limited amount of time once you take the written. It's like, then you have to get your license within, I can't remember what it is, but there's a cutoff date. You don't just have an infinite amount if you want to actually get your license, or you'll have to take it again, I think. But I was really nervous hearing how many people would just memorize it, because I shouldn't tell the world this, but it's so easy, right? You can just memorize the answers. They give you the answers. So you can just go in and memorize every answer and click, click, click. And I guess especially for professional pilot training, that's not uncommon, because they're trying to get through something and they're spending a lot of money. And yeah, that always kind of blew my mind. I definitely wanted to learn what this was about. And I've since, I've forgotten most of it because same thing. I still learn a lot flying in the sim. And I'm always shocked when I'll be flying with people for months and then they let me know that they're professional helicopter pilot. And I'll just kind of be blown away. What? Sweat starts pouring out of me.
Right.
I mean, I'm thinking of doing some, I'm going to be doing some lessons for the helicopters in the sim. And it's like, well, nobody else is doing it, but I don't really feel qualified just with the other people I fly with. It's kind of nuts. It's kind of nuts. So enough about flight simming for the moment. Did you always work on cars? Like, did you start when you were a teenager, when you first got a car, or is that something you went into more of as a profession?
I started before then. So when I was a kid, and I don't know what really got me into cars, but when I was a kid, I'm talking before I was 10 years old, I was hanging out at the neighbor's house working on cars. And
oh, yeah, okay.
There's no background in my family for that. It's not like my dad or my granddad or anything was a mechanic, but I just loved working on stuff. And remember, my mom and dad got me one of these Radio Shack, I don't know, 1001 electronic kits, whatever it was back in the day, a little wood frame and the springs, you put the wires in and stuff.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so that really just kind of solidified my love for electronics and cars. So my next door neighbor growing up, once we moved here to South Carolina, the next door neighbor was a mechanic. And so I was hanging out over there. And so, yeah, it was just kind of natural for me. So I took it in high school 2 years, took it in college 2 years, and was fortunate enough to get hired right out of college. And like I said, was a mechanic for 7 years at one dealership, left that one, went to another dealership for 7 years. And then the original dealership called me back to be their service manager. And I did that for 14 years.
Wow.
I started teaching. Yep.
Wow, that's great. Yeah, I started working on cars when I was, before I could drive, because my dad worked on his cars and my brother worked on his cars, and he was a lot older than me. And my dad worked on cars because they broke a lot. In those days, you saved a lot of money if you had any idea how to work on cars. And he also bought an Audi. And I don't know what you think of Audis, but in the 70s, they weren't great. Okay, they weren't great. He kept replacing half shafts in his front wheel drive Audi. Yep. And then my brother wanted to go faster, so his first car was a '71 Trans Am, and he immediately blew it up. And so I was always hanging around, sniffing around. And then I bought my first car was a '68 GTO. And yeah, as if it needed anything, I also wanted to make it go faster.
Nice.
Eventually, I fell in with hot rodding guys, and so I learned. I did everything on that car. I didn't do any paint, but we redid the entire engine. I didn't go through the transmission. I just replaced it with a better one. Replaced the rear end. Had everything mechanical was in pieces at one time or another. And we weren't doing anything like today. It seems like the restorers do everything's, to make it prettier, even when they're hot rodding. It's like their cars look so amazing, but ours were just, they were 10, 15-year-old cars, and we just fixed them to make them go. That's right. That's what I did too. Just make them go faster. So when you became an auto technician, you lucked into it. You never, what do you think of the changes in automotive technology? Did it ever get overwhelming, or was it just something you kind of kept up with? And because it seems like it's completely changed from when you started to what it is today. It seems like a whole different field.
Oh yeah, it definitely is. And thankfully, and I mean that, thankfully I started out when carburetors were still on all the cars, and I'm thankful for that because they gave me a good base. So, I was rebuilding carburetors, and it's weird because we are rebuilding alternators and starters now, and no one does that anymore. You just go out and buy a new one. You can't even, there's no more alternator and starter rebuild shops anymore. But yeah, so I started out doing everything. And technology in the 80s was actually horrendous. I would rather have just stuck with
Chrysler K car.
Yes, exactly. I would rather have, either been born earlier and worked on cars pre 1980s, or in the late 90s and started. But yeah, we had to suffer through all the vacuum hoses and all the first emission systems, which were just horrendous. It was an absolute nightmare. But now cars are really interesting, and yes, I am intimidated by the new stuff, the electric cars, the automated. What is it when they drive themselves? And that doesn't scare me so much. It's just the technology in there, and students they come into automotive, and they're directed to us a lot of times by their counselors at school or whatever, and they think that the counselors think we're still in the 70s and 80s. So this student can't learn math, or doesn't want to learn math, and doesn't want to do good in school, so hey, let's put him in automotive. He can always fix a car. Well,
oh, ouch.
Yeah. And we see that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's kind of the opposite. It's kind of the opposite now. Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah,
I look at my engines now, and it's been, the last car I had was a Toyota pickup. And so it was like probably the simplest car I ever had. And then I went from that to a Prius. And it's like,
oh, wow.
Yeah, I look at the Prius and go, okay. I'm glad it doesn't break. I'm glad nothing happens. Like, what? Yeah, anyway, but.
Yeah, so that's a real problem that we're having, and not only us, but schools across the country, because people are still of the mindset somehow. I don't know why people still think this, that a mechanic, they go home at night, grease up to their elbows, and they're just nasty, tobacco chewing, spitting people, cussing and stuff. But that's not the case. I mean, technicians, if you really think about it, technicians need to know a ton of stuff. They have to know the mechanical stuff, but now you're talking 3-phase AC, and I mean, there's high voltage. There's a lot of stuff that goes into cars now. It's a whole different level.
And there's a lot of publicity about the chip shortage and how cars aren't getting on the street because of the chip shortage. I don't think people realize that there's not just one chip in a car. I mean, there's a lot of chips, right? Every different function has a chip for it. It's pretty nuts. Absolutely. And is there still, it seems like there has been for a long time, but is there still a shortage of techs? It really seems like there's at least where we are, there's a huge shortage.
Oh, there is. There's a huge shortage. And this, whatever's going on in the labor market overall anyways, just compounds it even worse. But yeah, there's a huge shortage for technicians. There's hardly a week that goes by that we don't have at least one, but multiple people calling needing technicians. I'm sorry.
Was that the Star Wars theme?
Yes.
We've got to. Well, it's it's a semi-live podcast. We've got to have at least one phone go off.
Sorry about that.
That's quite all right. Not a problem. So we were talking about technician shortages and things like that. And I think, there's been several people that advocate for tech schools instead of 4-year colleges and beyond. And to me, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, I'm definitely 100% behind people looking into something that, for one, doesn't cost nearly as much. Mm-hmm. And when you get out, you're pretty much guaranteed you're going to be able to go to work somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a factory. Now, we teach automotive, but automotive students are kind of sought after too, not only by the automotive field, but these factories as well, because factories have machinery and robots that break down. And so if you can fix a vehicle, you have the mindset of repairing things. You're good with your hands. So they want our students. And that's one of the problems with the automotive technicians is having a shortage, is that they can make sometimes more working at a factory and better benefits than working at a dealership or at a shop. So there's a huge draw to technicians to factories to repair equipment when it breaks down.
So is that because the shop has taken all the money? Because it sure doesn't seem. It seems like the customer pays a lot.
Yeah, there's, and coming from, I can see it from both sides. As a service manager, I can definitely see the side of, you know, what the labor rate cost is versus what the technicians are paid and what the customer pays. There's a lot that weighs into that. Yeah, let me just, yeah. I mean, there's a ton that weighs into that. The shops aren't always the bad guys when it comes to the price and the pay, but there's going to have to come a time when customers realize that, hey, you know, my cars are very technologically advanced and I need a good quality technician. I'm going to have to start paying more. And yes, we pay a lot now, but
yeah. And buying a hybrid automobile has, it's been quite an experience, because when I had my first big repair, I was like, you're kidding. It's that much for that little part? And I mean, why do I even need this part? The factory just changed the part just like it. You know, it was on a recall, and they just changed this water pump. But then there was a second water pump that had to be replaced, and I'm bitching and moaning and kind of stamping my feet. And then I looked up and I went, wait, it's been 10 years. This is my first expense. And, you know, I think that's a big difference with most new cars, is that it's a lot longer before you need anything. You know, by the time you get through the warranty period, anything that would have broken that was done wrong is probably broke, and everything else is not, you know, it's going to last a while.
Yeah.
They seem to be a lot longer, especially as we get more and more into hybrid and electric vehicles. I mean, electric motors, there's nothing to them.
Right.
There's nothing there. They don't break.
That's right. Yeah, they don't.
Yeah.
It's all the controls and stuff that go along with it.
It's all the Bluetooth and the and the electric windows and the electric defog dog washer, and, you know, all
all the other goodies.
All the other goodies. Those are what have the problem. It's pretty funny.
Things that you have to have in your car.
Right.
Yeah.
So are you also a car guy? Like, do you have a favorite kind of car? I think once on your stream you said you were into, was it Top Fuel?
Yeah. I love drag racing. I've never drag raced before. And oddly, yeah, no. Not that not at a track. I'll put
you have never drag raced at a sanctioned event, you mean? Yes.
There you go. Thank you. Oddly enough, I am not one that likes hot rodding things, and I guess it's just because I always worked at a dealership. I wasn't didn't really have the money to spend on a lot of stuff. So my first car was a Volkswagen Bug, a 72, and thankfully things were rather inexpensive there. And so I did do some, you can't call those a muscle car, but I did do some engine work, and it would pull the front wheels off the ground. I mean, it would pull the wheels. Yeah, but I never really had a Chevelle. I wish I had a Chevelle, but the Chevelle is my dream car, like a 71 kind of round body.
I had a 68 GTO, so that was my competition always.
Yeah. Chevelle. Oh yes, it was. Yeah. The GTOs are sweet.
Yeah.
And I wish I had a story of this car that I had, but all it is a bug.
Well, it's funny because the first time I went to, this was a long, long time ago, but the first time I went to an actual track, a quarter-mile strip, it was the days, it must have been the early 80s. So it was the days when people were really hot rodding those Volkswagens. They were putting Porsche engines in them, and I mean, you could hot rod those for cheap. And there was a bunch of them there that were way faster than my car, and they sounded like a chainsaw. They just they had the weirdest sound. It was like a chainsaw going down the strip. This crazy stuff. So do you watch the NHRA? Do you have like a favorite drag race star or past or present, anything like that?
If I subscribe to something where I could watch it. Unfortunately, I'm one of these guys that Twitch is my TV, Twitch is my entertainment.
Oh, okay, cool. I wonder.
I mean, seriously, I've got Hulu and that's it. I would love to, if I had the time, but I really don't, to watch more drag racing. But I have met, let's see, I shouldn't have even started because I can't. Tony Schumacher. Tony Schumacher.
Oh.
Yeah, I've met him. He's pretty
Mm-hmm.
cool. And Anton Brown. He is just so down to earth. I've been in the pits and he's there working on his own car and putting fuel in his own car where the other guys are, having other people do all that stuff.
Wow.
But I love drag racing. Have you ever been to one of those?
I have still not been to a Top Fuel. It's definitely something I want to do. And it's not that far. They do it in Portland, which is like 100 miles from me. So I really want, and I lived in LA where they do the Winter Nationals. The Winter Nationals are in Pomona. And I really meant to go to that. But I just never got over to it. Whoops.
It's cool.
But yeah, that's an experience I really would love to go. Because I've been to I've been to races where they have everything but Top Fuel, and watching anything doing an 8-second pass is amazing. But now we're seeing 3-second passes, under 4. That blows my. I don't know if people listening to this understand what that means. Your car does a 19-second quarter mile.
Yeah, I know, right?
These guys are doing it in 3.4. Oh man!
Until you're there,
unbelievable.
Until you're there and you feel the power and you smell it. Oh my gosh, the nitro methane. When you go to the pits, when they crank those cars up, it's like tear gas. I mean, everyone's eyes start burning and start running. You can't breathe. It takes your breath. But I love it. Everyone else moves away. I move closer then. And I love the smell of the nitro methane. It's a real rush. It's awesome.
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. I'm looking at my list now. I did have some, I know I'm skipping things. Oh yeah. So you liked all kinds of games. What made you, well, for one, I guess there's 2 questions. Do you do the simulator exclusively? Do you still do other games? And what drew you to the sim, doing the sim?
I have totally forsaken everything else.
All right.
I really have.
You've seen the light.
Yeah, I have. I started out with Nintendo stuff only. I've had every Nintendo console there is. I've owned them all. And so I started out even streaming with the Nintendo Switch. It really was never into PC gaming and never owned a PC that could run a game until I decided to start streaming. But again, I started out with the Nintendo Switch, streaming Animal Crossing of all things. Yes, Scruffy was an Animal Crossing streamer, if you can believe that. And Mario Kart, I would do that. Did some Jackbox. That was probably one of my first PC, quote unquote games was doing Jackbox stuff. And I love puzzle platformers. If you've ever heard of Castlevania, that's a classic puzzle platformer. So not really puzzle, but platforming, jumping from one platform to the next and fighting enemies and stuff like that. But I love doing puzzles. And so anything like some of the viewers may know Ori and the Will of the Wisp or Hollow Knight. Those are some of the games I played. But then one of my viewers, who's also a streamer, who I used to lurk on Thursday nights, he was flight simming, and I was like, dude, what is this? And so he was telling me about it. And he said, man, you can change the time, you can change the weather, and it's just like really flying. And so I really got interested because I've always had a fascination for flying. And so I said, yeah, I got to try this. And I started looking at some other streamers that were doing it. So I jumped in, got the sim and tried it myself and just got hooked. And I have not looked back. I mean, flight simming, it's just amazing. And the community is where it's at. I mean, the community is amazing.
It is. We say this over and over again. The community is really mind-boggling. It's still... I still get kind of blown away when people start watching and they don't know what it is, and that happens like at least once a week, maybe more, and they don't say anything. But it's still kind of surprising because I know it's sold over 1 million, which is really big for a flight sim game. I mean, I noticed that Microsoft came out and said, we've sold this many games, in the first year, and nobody else says that. And none of the other simulators say anything about how much they've sold, and I think I know why. I can guess why they're not saying anything. Yeah, we sold some games. It's not really a big game. I think even Asobo and Microsoft were blown away by the response, and it probably had a lot to do with everyone being in their homes and wanting something to do. But it's definitely, this is at least my 5th sim or something. Well, I had 4 on my desktop when I bought this. I had, well, this would have been, this was the 4th one when I bought the thing. And it's a whole different experience. But then the community adds so much to it. Because I was starting to kind of get bored and scratch my head when I started. I don't even know how I stumbled on streamers. I have no idea how I stumbled on it. But I started watching some streamers and seeing what they were doing and seeing how into people were. And I had been doing YouTube videos, so I thought I would try it. And yeah, just the outpouring of support that you get it's really mind-boggling. Even at that, it's not going to pay for my gear, but it's mind-boggling. It's still fun. It's really fun. I also wanted to ask you. You have a pretty nice setup now. Is some of that stuff things you had from doing videography already, or did you build a setup for doing streaming?
So some of it is a carryover. I'm one, excuse me, and my wife will tell you that if I'm going to do something, I'm going to go full in and do it. And she always fusses at me because you always want the best of everything.
Right.
So I already had 2 cameras, the one camera that you're seeing right now. And then I've got another camera that I use for shooting video. And the lights, and that's pretty much all I had. Everything else I bought just for streaming only. I'm sorry, I forgot your question.
That was mainly it, just about equipment and how okay. How it came about. And you have a Go XLR, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm thinking of getting one of those, and Captain Narash was talking it up one day. Did you always have that, or did you stream without it and then get one?
Nope. So before I started streaming, I bought everything you see.
So that gives me there's no way I can compare it then.
No. Yeah. I mean, seriously, there's nothing.
That's all you've known.
Yeah, that's all I've known. There was a streamer. The first streamer that I started watching was Evil, EYVL, and she was playing Splatoon. And so she became who I was really watching a lot, but she had a Go XLR. And she had this mic, so you can kind of see where I'm going with this. She had a Stream Deck, and she sounded good, and audio was good and everything. So when I started looking, I asked her, about these things, and I kind of modeled my gear after what she was doing. And I'm glad I did. I love the Go XLR. It's you have really amazing.
You have a really nice setup. I kind of came from the opposite end. It was, can I do this with what I have was kind of my question. But of course, being like all of us who stream, immediately I started, well, it would be better if I got a nicer mic, because I didn't want to it was buying a board for this mic or getting a mic that is similar, but you don't need a board. Because I kind of wanted to see what I could do with a computer. And I'm about at the edge of that experiment now. At the end of that experiment, I'm happy with what I'm doing, but I'll probably start building from here.
Yeah. So when I started streaming, I wanted to have everything in place. I didn't want to. I didn't want to start out not having everything I needed. So I wanted to start out right and do it like I am. And so I didn't have a PC. I bought a PC just for streaming.
Oh, wow.
The Go XLR. Yeah. I mean,
wow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I bought the PC, the Go XLR, the Stream Deck, the monitors, everything. I bought everything all at once just for this purpose.
And then your PC died and you had to build another one.
Oh, I've got such a story about that. Yeah, it's I got totally screwed on the first computer, and then the something fried my motherboard, and I ended up having to buy a motherboard, a processor, a new case. I'm looking at it, trying to remember what all else I needed. RAM. So I had to buy a lot, but it's a long story, and I promise I'm not going to go into that today.
That's quite all right. It's part of. I like to bring it up because it's part of it's part of the game. It's part of doing flight sims. Definitely part of streaming. I mean, probably every streamer I started out watching has gotten a computer since I started watching them, and I haven't been watching that long, but I think everyone that I watched in the beginning it's now got at least one new computer, because I know Flights with Fabio has redone his entire setup. I know that Two-Tone Murphy has added a computer, at least one. He might have gotten two new computers.
Wow.
It's part of it. I'm looking at doing the same thing. I'm really hesitating because I thought I was going to have to buy a new computer, and I hate buying computers. And then recently, I did I did a build with just the parts I need, which would be a power supply and a graphics card and a motherboard. Oh, and a processor. So it's most of the PC, but then I could do what I did last time, which was awesome. I did this the last time I needed to. Well, for this sim, I knew I needed a graphics card, and to put a graphics card in, I needed a motherboard and a processor, and I had just bought a power supply. So I was thinking, well, I just bought this power supply. I don't want to go get a computer. So I bought all those parts and threw it in. And the great thing was that after a little bit of frustration and one call to Microsoft, I had the computer all running like it was the old computer with new parts. So that part so I didn't have to reinstall anything. It was
that's cool.
I hooked up the old drives to the new board. I called Microsoft and they said, and by the way, it's digital now. So that if you do this again, all you got to do is sign in and you have your Microsoft back. So yeah, it's pretty incredible.
Oh, that's
pretty
sweet.
Shocking. I'm not at all looking forward to the price of a new card, but at least
right.
Yeah, at least I know I can do it. If I have to do it, I can do it. But also, I love your shout out system and just the fact that you're big into supporting streamers. Is there even is there a list of people you could think of that either inspired you or that you're still inspired by? People streaming now, whether it's flight sim or whatever it is.
Yeah. So to begin with, it was Evil. It's really who got me into Twitch and wanting to stream to begin with. And then I've got to I owe a huge debt to a streamer called Tfayue, Tfayue, a variety streamer. So I went. But like everybody else, we all start with 0 followers, and we all wonder, am I going to make it? What's it going to take to grow, and stuff. And so I went to, after 2 weeks, I think it was, I went to bed one night after streaming with 26 followers. You probably, everyone remembers those days.
Oh yeah.
You're struggling and you want to promote yourself all over everyone's channels, but not to. And so I woke up the next morning. I think I was going to stream, but I got on the PC and I had 52 followers. I went to bed at night with 22, I think it was. Woke up with 52 or 20 something. Woke up with 52. Unbeknownst to me, someone that I didn't even know had been in my community and went to another streamer's channel, this Tfayue, and told him about me. Well, Tfay has this thing called Luna. And I don't remember what the acronym is, but it's basically a program that helps new streamers hit affiliate.
Oh,
and
wow.
So he would not stop streaming that night until myself and 4 other people hit affiliate. And so everyone in this channel went and followed all these people, myself and 3 others, and all 4 of us hit affiliate on the same day. So I kind of owe a debt of gratitude to Tfay for that. But currently, I really look up to you, Tomo's World. Oh my gosh, I'm going to get in trouble.
That's okay.
So many people, for naming people. Shoney Gaming, right. I really enjoy Shoney. And there's so many others that have, have kind of cycled through people, and yeah,
Yeah, it's hard. It was a tough question.
It is hard. Yeah.
I didn't even think of it. It is hard to name off. My apologies.
No, that's okay.
A lot yeah. Because I mean, I'm still streaming basically because of the support of other streamers. That's the only reason. I never got 50 or 20 in a day, but every raid adds people and adds enthusiasm, and even if people raid and nobody in that raid follows at all, it still makes me think, well, at least someone's watching out there, at least someone's interested, because I'm always kind of on the fence about if what I'm doing is interesting or not. It's like, is anyone really want to see this? But it's so, I was doing YouTube videos, and it's nothing like Twitch took off so much faster. It's so much bigger. There's so much more enthusiasm. So I never really tried live YouTube, but it doesn't seem like the same thing at all. So yeah,
no, I agree.
Yeah. Once I went here, it was just like, it was a whole different world.
And I just have a hard time finding the energy to do. I've got a YouTube channel, and all I do is take my VODs from Twitch, cut the intro, cut the ending, and put it on there. And I add my own, intro, come see me on Twitch or whatever. But I just have a hard time finding the energy to do all the planning that I need to for the flight sim streams, plus really edit a 5 or 6 hour VOD down to where it needs to be interesting for for YouTube. And so I just post my VODs to YouTube and put all my energy into Twitch, and it's working.
Yeah, because YouTube was a whole different field. I mean, I was doing anything like 10 to 20 minute videos, and still occasionally put those up. And that video takes as long as doing a 4-hour stream. It takes as long as the planning and the, doing the 4. It takes just as long, and you just don't get a lot of feedback from it. It looks nicer, I'll say. It always looks better because you have edits, and I play with the sound a little, but it's different. It's different. So yeah, with my helicopter series, I'm going to start doing a helicopter teaching series, and I'm just going to basically take the VOD and put it over on YouTube with a card saying, here it is. If you want to see
I think the draw to Twitch, one of the draws is just like it is with live TV. Back in our day, I'm assuming how old you are, and I'm sorry. But back in the day, Carol Burnett show. Did you ever watch the Carol Burnett show?
Oh yeah.
Anything. Yeah. And Saturday Night Live, anything that's live, what are we looking for? With NASCAR racing, what are people looking for? They're looking for mistakes. That's what the draw is to a lot of these things. They're looking for the crash in NASCAR. They're looking for the actor that is just absolutely about to bust a gut because they can't hold in their laughter because another actor did something to try to crack them up. That's the draw to these things. And I think that's the draw to Twitch over YouTube is people can come to Twitch and they see us in how we are,
right.
Dang, Lord knows. Yep. I'll have a brain fart 1,000,000 times during the stream and forget what I'm saying. We'll crash a plane or whatever, but then on YouTube, we've cleaned all that up. We're perfect people on YouTube.
It's true.
But on Twitch, people are here looking for those things. And I think that's the big difference between YouTube and Twitch is the live aspect.
I think that's true. I mean, YouTube is I've noticed they're really trying to follow in the Twitch footsteps. They've made their live programs almost follow the Twitch stuff exactly. Like they're really trying to copy it, but it's kind of too late. And when I had my 500 follower stream and had the worst stream ever as far as problems, I mean, my computer, everything shut off. I have never had that happen ever. I got it all started, I came back, everyone was still there. Not everyone, but a lot of people were still there moments later. And after the stream, I went, oh, well, that's what they're looking for.
Yeah,
what am I thinking? That's why they're here. That's exactly why they're here. That was the crash in NASCAR, that was it.
My most discouraging moment since the channel has grown was on New Year's Eve. And it was going to be a big moment for me. I was super excited about New Year's, almost as excited as I was about today's stream. But New Year's, I had planned this flight path from Long Island to Niagara Falls with the fireworks mod that I saw on your channel. And it was going to be huge. I started out, I had a bunch of people, had a ton of people flying along, and I had 3 CTDs. And on Steam, when you have a CTD, to my knowledge, there is no way to recover except for shutting your PC down and restarting it.
No.
Yeah.
So I didn't even know that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So 3 times during that stream, I had to shut my computer all the way down, restart my stream 3 times on New Year's Eve. And did I lose some people? Yes. I was super disappointed, but I still ended up. It was an amazing stream. It was one of my favorites, even with all the problems.
Yeah, that's great. And you got to show some people some fireworks.
Yeah, it was awesome,
that was
man.
Such an awesome add-on. Yeah,
it was.
Yeah. Well, we're getting down to the wire here, and I have some questions that I ask. Well, I'm starting to. Sometimes I ask these questions of all.
The quick fire round?
It's kind of like the quick fire round, but but I'm not Two-Tone Murphy, so it's the fast fire round.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
And you can take your time. These are fun because you get different answers, and maybe you find out more about whoever the guest is. So the first one: do you like turtles?
I'm not opposed to them, but I can't say I've ever kissed one.
I asked this because I'm a big lover of Hawaii, and they have sea turtles there. And
cool.
I wonder if they have sea turtles off your coast as well. They probably do.
Yes, I know we do. Yeah,
I would think so.
Yeah. There's some places in, I think it's Hilton Head Island, where you gotta watch because of sea turtles. But no, I like turtles. Am I a turtle fan? I mean, sorry.
That's quite all right.
I don't have a pet turtle.
Neither do I. That would be illegal, the kind I like.
Yeah. I got a sea turtle farm in my backyard.
Yeah, exactly. I sell them for soup. No. Have you ever thought about doing a podcast yourself?
Dude, let me tell you, I have done a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
It was called Lost in the Dryer. It was when I was a variety streamer, and I had no freaking clue what I was doing. I had a really, really difficult time. The first one flowed really good. The second one, I struggled. I didn't know how to do it, and I stopped. So yeah, there. If you search "Lost in the Dryer," you'll probably see my logo, but there's no podcast out there.
So you think I should know something about doing a podcast to do it? Is that some kind of requirement? I'll have to look into that. Okay.
I really struggled. I didn't know what topic. I wanted to be a positive light, kind of like I am on Twitch. I wanted to be that way on podcasts, and I just didn't know what I was doing. So I may come back to it.
Yeah,
I may come back to it, but I don't know.
You just ask guests on that or have a positive outlook. That's all you do. Do you believe in luck?
You know what? I don't. I am. I do have religious beliefs. I keep those to myself for the most part, just for obvious reasons. So no, I think everything happens for a reason.
Interesting.
Yep, I do.
I guess that's different than luck. Yeah. Okay. Social media, good or bad?
Oh, it's good. I mean, I love social media probably because I'm addicted to it, like a lot of people are. So it's good in ways. It has its good and bad. I mean, I have seen people that literally are addicted to it, and they just can't put their phone down, and they can't stay away from it, and they're into all the drama and all that stuff. So in that aspect, it's not good. But as far as we are concerned, as content creators, I don't think we'd be where we are without it.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, it's sometimes I forget that Twitch is social media because it's such a different medium, but that's what it is. It is social media. So that part of it's good. Do you have a favorite podcast? Do you listen to podcasts?
I wish could say I did listen to him, Joel. I'm sorry.
That's quite all right.
I work 5 minutes from home.
Oh,
so
right.
my commute isn't,
not many.
such that I don't
There's
have
not a
time
lot
to
of
listen
5-minute. There's a few 5-minute podcasts, but not a lot. As soon as you got it turned on, you'd be done. You get any new furniture lately?
Oh wow. Actually, no, I have not. I was trying to think of what the newest piece of furniture I have was, and I think it's this chair that I'm sitting in.
Well, there you go. That's a new one. Is it comfy?
It is. Yeah,
good,
I really like it. I'm a big guy. I weigh 380 pounds, so it's hard to find one of these gamer chairs isn't quite suited for a big guy like me. So
no, well, they make a big one, but I don't know. Yeah, I didn't realize. I had no idea. So did you play football?
I did not. I was super skinny. If I turned sideways, you probably wouldn't see me when I was in high school and college, but got married and I'm kind of on some weight.
What was the last thing you bought online?
Let me make sure my wife's not close by. Let's see. Good Lord, what was the last thing I bought? Probably the last thing I bought was this as I was planning my VOR stream.
Look at that.
Yeah.
And actually you need to say, because mostly this is audio. So
sorry about that.
Describe to the listening audience what that is.
What's the technical term of this? Is it a navigational ruler? I don't even know what it's called.
It should say right on it. I think it says on it.
If it's not.
Maybe not. But let's go with that. It's a navigational ruler.
We'll go with that. I'll make myself sound really professional.
It's a way to do VFR flights and map it out on your map.
Yeah, so that's actually what I did. That was the last thing I bought that I can remember. Yeah.
And do you have an E6B?
I do actually.
All right.
Yeah.
I just wondered if
over here.
That's great. So people are still buying those. That's good. Yeah. I mean, I think you still have to have one to get through flight school.
You do.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Because I remember taking the remote pilot's exam and wondering what the heck is this thing? Because they give you like 2 mints and the E6B and a couple other little things in there, a calculator and some other stuff. But I always wondered what the heck is this thing for? And now I know.
It's pretty amazing because when you think about it, whoever invented that, when that came out, it must have been a revelation. Mm-hmm. It must have been, wow, we don't have to do math anymore.
Exactly.
It does a lot for you. That's a good one. Have you broken any laws lately?
Can I? Yeah, I have. Yeah. Can I just leave it at that?
You can, sure. Oh, have you ever wanted to do something else for a living other than for instance, have you ever thought about making the podcast, I always say that, the stream, a full-time gig?
Oh, I think a lot of people, when they first learn about Twitch and they watch all the big people, that's their dream. That's their goal, is, I want to do this full time. Was that mine? I was really more realistic because by then I had already had my drone business, which was going to replace my full-time job, which still hasn't. Mm-hmm. So I was more realistic about Twitch, but would I like it to? Oh, heck yeah. But, at 53 years old with the benefits I have where I'm working, realistically, probably not. But yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Right. But it could be some good supplemental income. I never had the idea of it at all myself because I'm already retired and it doesn't have to. The fact, if it could buy me a couple of add-ons, that would be fantastic. Mm-hmm. And things to give away, like you were saying, a lot of your giveaways were actually purchased through the stream, so that is awesome.
Yep.
Here's one. Do you believe in talent?
Oh, most definitely. Yeah. I do. Yeah, I do. My talent, I think, is just, working with my hands is my talent. I'm not a dancer. I'm not a singer. But yeah. But
that's a talent. That is definitely a talent, I think. It's not,
it is.
Everyone has different talents. I think learning is a talent, and being a lot of talented people say they don't. I've seen some very talented celebrities say they don't believe in talent. It's all about hard work. Excuse me. And that is a talent, I think. To work hard, I think, is kind of a talent as well.
Yeah, I mean, hard work is definitely. Yeah, I'd have to disagree with those celebrities because, I think every one of us has something in us that we can do better than other things. And yes, does it take education and hard work to hone those things? Yeah, just like when you're a bodybuilder like I am.
That's why you're 320 pounds. It's a bodybuilding.
It takes that hard work and stuff to build those muscles. But yeah, I mean, I believe in talent. Yeah,
a lot of chicken. Yes,
that's right.
Oh, do you believe there's something after this?
Yes, 100%.
All right.
Yep. I know there is.
Yeah, I figured that was the answer. Oh, you know there is. Ooh. Yep. Does that mean you've had a NDE?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay.
I'm just that strong in my faith.
I'm good. That's good. Good thing to be. Good place to be.
Yep.
All right. Well, Scrufytam or Bill King, it's been really great having you on the podcast. This has been a lot of fun. I think we're going to wrap it up, let you get some rest because you've been going since 5 a.m. my time.
Yeah, I've been going for a while.
Been going a long time. All right. Well, thank you for listening. This has been Were You Still Talking? This is Joel Albrecht, and my guest today has been Bill King. Twitch streamer, auto, I almost said auto technician, and more information will be in the notes if you want to find out more, see what we're talking about. There will be links in the notes. Thanks so much for listening. Remember, if you want to support the podcast, the best way is to tell other people about it. Tell your friends, tell your family, share it on your social media if you want. Sure, however you like. Thanks so much for listening. We will be back. I can't say we'll be back soon because I never know these days. As soon as I find another fantastic guest, we will have another podcast. And as always, be good to each other and be good to yourself.